So, Thomas Tuchel says Jude Bellingham has a battle on his hands to secure an England starting place as the competition for World Cup places hots up under the West Palm Beach sun. England's first game is against Croatia on June the 17th. Our football correspondent Rob Dorset is with the England squad and can tell us more.
For more than a year now, we've been discussing exactly what Jude Bellingham's role is in this England side and whether he's a starter in Thomas Tuchel's mind. Morgan Rogers was the man who got the nod in the vast majority of World Cup qualifying matches. He's the only England player who featured in all of those 8 games. Bellingham, by contrast, only played in 4. And now, when Thomas Tuchel has been asked whether Bellingham has a battle on his hands to win a starting place in his World Cup 11, Tuchel said, yes, he has. He went on to say, he is one of the starters. He knows he's one of the starters, but we have 14 or 15 potential starters. Those roles can always change, but at the moment, I think there are like 14 or 15 proper starters, and Jude is one of those. I think it's fair to say that Bellingham outperformed his very good friend Morgan Rogers in the friendly against New Zealand in Tampa on Saturday, and Tuchel has said that the Real Madrid man looks like he's in top form. He, meaning Jude, looks good. He looks good in training. I think he is at the moment in a sweet spot because he has had his break and he has the hunger to be back on the pitch, and after injury this is normal. And he is so happy to be back on the pitch. You take everything in. Now, Tuchel again refused to say whether Jude Bellingham is part of his leadership group, so all of that debate will continue. But the England head coach went on to talk about the different roles he's assigned to the members of his 26-man squad. He said, yes, there are 14 or 15 starters, but he said there's also a special group, he didn't elaborate on what they were, and a group of finishers, the guys he might use to come off the bench and try and affect a result. And whilst we in the media and the fans will be guessing which player falls into which category, Tuchel says he's told the players exactly where they stand.
Well, just a reminder, scan this QR code and leave your voice notes and messages on WhatsApp to have your say. Right, having their say, we've got Michael Bridge with us, Jay Bothroyd. Very good morning, and we want to know, should Jude Bellingham start?
Yeah, I don't think so. I like Morgan Rogers. I think he deserved his spot. I think the last few squads that he's been in, he's done really well. I think that Thomas Tuchel trusts him in that area. I think he brings a lot to the team as well. He's strong. He gets the ball on the half turn. He scores from the edge of the box, and I think that's what number 10s, is required of them. I think when I look at Jude Bellingham, I look at him more as a number 8. More as a box-to-box midfielder, someone that arrives in there, like a Lampard. Like, you wouldn't say he's a number 10, you'd say he's a box-to-box player where he just arrives, and that's why I would go with Morgan Rogers to begin with.
What about Declan Rice, vice-captain? Right decision with that?
Captain Dec at Arsenal, for next season anyway. But for this, I think it's a great shout. I feel like he's got all the minerals, what is expected of a captain, but as a vice-captain, if Harry Kane's not going to play, I think he's that leader, he's a midfield general, he's got the right attitude. He always keeps his team involved, even through the bad times, like, Arsenal last season, when he's saying, come on, it's not over yet, them kind of things. That's what you need in your captain, someone that keeps everyone inspired and everyone on their toes. So I think it's a great decision to make him vice-captain.
Yeah, especially missing sort of those leaders with no Harry Maguire there either. And you've covered, of course, England training sessions many a time. What were your observations about Declan Rice?
He's a leader without an armband. He's got a lot of presence, a lot of respect. He's a £100 million bargain joining Arsenal. Arsenal, that wasn't very Arsenal back in the day, putting that much money into it. Then working on the transfer show here, Manchester City came in, and he is a huge part of what is going well at Arsenal, I feel, at the moment. And for me, it's an absolute no-brainer. Now, I'd like to think Harry Kane's got still a number of years left, the way he plays the game, the way he looks after his body, his health in general, and I think he'll sort of drop back a little bit in time, Harry Kane. But if there's any time Harry Kane won't be there, for me, it's an absolute no-brainer. And Declan Rice, every time I've covered England, he's at the centre of everything. Not even just the training, just the general camaraderie of it.
Yeah, and can I say one thing to that as well? Like, without Declan Rice, I don't think Arsenal win the league last year. That's how important he is as a leader, and I feel like that's why it's important to have Declan Rice as vice-captain. So if Harry Kane, something happens to him, God forbid nothing does, but if something does, then you've got a leader in Declan Rice that can step in.
What about him as a starter if you don't think Jude Bellingham is going to be?
What's that?
Declan Rice.
Listen, I love Declan Rice. No one's ever going to derail me from saying that he's a great choice for vice-captain, for captain. Bellingham, again, I think he's a superstar, don't get me wrong, but is he a superstar that's going to be good for the team? And I think that's what Thomas Tuchel is thinking about and looking at now, the team. What is good for the team? Not the individual, not for the papers. What is good for the team? And I think, obviously, Declan Rice being that person is great.
Very quickly as well, Jude Bellingham did the speech for Rio and Gamoa's first England cap as well, and that's usually from a captain or one of the leaders. So that was an interesting one for me at the weekend.
Even the leadership group. I mean, I don't know what you think, Bridget, about this leadership group, but I think all of the experienced players, genuinely, when you look at the history of competitions, this whole leadership thing, you know, has just started recently. I think, as an England player, if you're involved in that squad, whether you're, you know, one of the, the eldest players or the youngest players, you've all got to have that kind of team spirit where you're all pulling together at the same time. You know, I think when you look at the captain, Harry Kane, obviously he's going to have the biggest say in the dressing room. He is captain, Declan Rice vice captain, but everyone has to pull in the right direction. That's the only way England are going to be able to get over the line.
We'll hear a lot more about England as well. We kind of just want to talk about how far we think they're going to go. Now they're out there, we've seen them acclimatise, had warm-up games. What do you reckon?
It's going to be tough, Hayley, because, you know, as much as we look at the players that England have at their disposal, players that have been left behind, but you look at the players that are there in the squad, the thing for me is I haven't enjoyed watching an England football match from start to finish for a while now. And I feel it's because we don't gel as a nation together on the pitch. When you look at the individuals that go there, for their clubs, they're fantastic. But as a group, you don't really see him gelling that well. Even Kane, you know, you see him playing for Bayern. That's the kind of Kane that I want to see for England. And that's because of the players around him. Sometimes I still feel like there's a lot of individuals on the pitch trying to do their bit for their country. But there's roles that you have to play. Now, I look at Kane and I say, if you're giving Kane chances, there's a good chance. 9 times out of 10, he's going to score those chances. Then we can keep progressing through tournaments. I feel like with England at the moment, there's a big onus on the wingers, you know, and a lot of our play go down the sides. Yes, Harry Kane's coming into them little pockets in between the lines, gets the ball wide, but then wingers need to put balls back in the box for him. When you look at Bayern, that's what they do. They play the intricate passes, but then they get the ball into wide areas and you get Elise that's, you know, crossing balls in. Harry Kane's in there, you know, Diaz on the other side. That's the way England need to play in that final third.
OK.